Hey everybody, in today's video, we're going to be talking about 5 reasons why traders lose money. The first reason that I want to point out is a particular character flaw that nearly every person has to deal with prayerfully. It's a character flaw that's a direct result of our fallen natures, but that's all the more reason for us to take it head on, eradicate it from our lives, and mortify it, and that is selfishness. You see, when you start trading, you're going to find that your desire to perform well, and most likely it's for great reasons like wanting to provide for your family, those desires will drive you to do things that aren't rational, like elevating that desire above the actual data in front of you. In other words, let's say you enter a trade which looked really good at the time you got in. You put in the work, you waited for the trade to meet the necessary criteria that signals an entry, and you get in the trade feeling great. But then the market decides that it doesn't care. Now at TRADEway, we teach you exactly what to do in these situations to mitigate your expenses and assist you in handling those circumstances appropriately. However, oftentimes you'll forget about that part. All you're concerned with is that the trade looked good, you were totally hyped to tell your family about it and to add a great trade to your record. And so you decide that you're going to ignore the stop-out rules just for a little while and give it a chance to recover even though the market is screaming for you to stop out. Well, a situation like this stems from selfishness. You care more about having a great trade and the positive things that follow, including the praise of your family, and all of a sudden those emotions, that desire, trumps the empirical data right in front of you. Don't let selfishness cause you to lose your hard-earned money. Let nothing be done through strife or vainglory, but in lowliness of mind let each esteem other better than themselves. Philippians 2:3. Now, the word for strife there is actually the Greek word referring to a self-focus, more concerned about yourself and rationalizing about maybe the praise and the things that you're going to be getting for your circumstances over everybody else and what's actually best for you. But if ye have bitter envying and strife in your hearts, glory not, and lie not against the truth. This wisdom descendeth not from above, but is earthly, sensual, devilish. For where envying and strife is, there is confusion in every evil work. Again, the Greek word for strife there literally means a desire to put oneself forward. In other words, selfishness. Reason number 2 that traders lose money? Pride. Now, perhaps this is the most obvious reason that many traders would fail and lose an unnecessary amount of money. You might even think that this is merely an offshoot of our last point, but there's some important distinctions to be made here. Pride, as it's described in the Bible, is never once used in a positive context. In fact, it was the very first sin ever committed by the son of the morning, or Lucifer, in Isaiah 14. It was the primary cause of the fall in judgment of individuals and nations throughout the whole Bible. And it's just as prevalent within our hearts, the hearts of the human race today, as it's ever been. Now, in the context of our topic here, I'm not necessarily talking about the blatant, brazen pride that we find in some of those biblical examples, but the source is the exact same. When it comes to trading, you're going to find a tremendous struggle in letting the market lead your trading rather than your know-how. And that is just as applicable to veteran traders as it is for brand new traders. We have to pray. We have to ask the Lord daily to remove pride in our hearts that could be detrimental to our trading careers and allow us to remain humble and put our long-term trading health above our short-term desire to grab those results that we want so bad, even when we know we're breaking the guidelines in the process to do it. But he giveth more grace. Wherefore, he saith, God resisteth the proud, but giveth grace unto the humble. Humble yourselves in the sight of the Lord, and he shall lift you up. James 4, 6, and 10. So that was reason number 2. We have to remove pride. Reason number 3 that traders can lose money? Fear. Now, let's consider what might be the opposite end of the spectrum of our previous 2 points, being too afraid to approach trading the right way. By this, what I mean is being too careful or perhaps being so conservative that you're not following through with your original trading plan and perhaps exiting your trades too early. Well, a part of the reason this may be happening is because you don't yet have that trust in the principles that God Himself has given us as the framework for our wealth creation. Namely, the main principle I'm talking about here is the law of the risk-reward trade-off. You've probably heard my dad say it before, but it's a law as sure as gravity, and it requires trust in the Lord that your efforts, when bathed in prayer to Him, will be blessed. In fact, Matthew 10, 38 through 39 says, And he that taketh not his cross and followeth after me is not worthy of me. He that findeth his life shall lose it, and he that loseth his life for my sake shall find it. We know that just by virtue of being a follower of Jesus himself, it requires risk. It requires risk reward. Now, in the context of trading, consider the parable of the talents. You have the guy that was not willing to take any risk at all and that buried his single talent in the dirt that was punished the harshest. It was the other guys that actually took some risk, went out and did something with their talents that the Lord blessed and actually gave them even more to be in charge of. So consider that. Don't let fear of risk in general alter your perception of the guidelines, alter your perception of your trading career, and actually cause you to break necessary rules because you're just simply too afraid. Now, something that's really tough for a trader to deal with sometimes is seeing the success, the great results that his fellow traders are experiencing and wanting that so badly that rather than putting in the work to make corrections where they're needed and things like that, you actually double down on some of your faulty methods trying to force the same results yourself. Now, there are a number of things that could cause this to happen, but envy is certainly one of them. It's the fear of missing out combined with a bit of jealousy that you haven't yet seen the results yourself. This can not only eat away at your character and bring some serious sin into your life, but it'll hurt your trading at the same time. And you might be thinking that that sounds like a trivial byproduct of deeper issues, but it's really not. I mean, we're talking about your hard-earned money here, which is intended to be a blessing to your family. You need to be very careful not to envy others' results and let that alter your attitude toward your own trading. Be thankful that your family or your friends are experiencing that success and pray and ask the Lord to let you experience it too in His providence, and do the best that you can with where He has put you. If you've already dealt with this issue in the past, you don't need to let it make you someone you know you're not. It's a sin, but it's not something that God won't forgive immediately. Make it right with Him and get back out there. If we live in the Spirit, let us also walk in the Spirit. Let us not be desirous of vainglory, provoking one another, envying one another. Galatians 5:25-26. So that's reason number 4, envy. Now, reason number 5 is a big one, and I think one that we can all relate to easily, and that is instant gratification. Now, we've already alluded to this in some ways, but it's such a prevalent issue in our day and age that it must be discussed and, more importantly, removed from our trading. The constant desire for instant gratification that's frankly tied into nearly every part of our lives in the 21st century can drastically alter our perceptions of how long it can take us to see true, sustainable results. And the key word there is sustainable. We cannot let our desire for those quick results to pester our decisions and our decision-making to the point where we make calls based on nothing other than the possibility of a quote-unquote quick profit. Forget the technicals, forget the fundamentals, forget the market tone. The market's hot and XYZ is where it is right now. That's the kind of thinking that will cause you to want to grab those quick profits. That's a desire for instant gratification, and it will totally disrupt your progress in making a sustainable, long-lasting career out of trading. Don't let it do that. So that's reason number 5, instant gratification. That's it for now, everybody. Thank you so much for joining me today. And if you want to learn more, check out the links in our description below. And I can't wait to see you next time. Have a good one.